I've been thinking about this all day and I wanted to share it with you, Warrior. Hollywood is a real hellhole for girls and women. And I'm going to tell you the importance of this because we have so many more important things to think about, contemplate, worry about, take care of, do. But it actually is very important. Today, running around New York City in the freezing cold, and it was a beautiful little snowstorm this morning. I found myself by Rockefeller Center, the Christmas tree. Nobody was there. It was about 7:25 this morning. It was just a beautiful sight. And as I'm walking, I'm thinking, because I do my best thinking when I'm walking to an early morning meeting on a Saturday, by the way, prior to our toy and gift giveaway for Christmas in Bushwick, Brooklyn for little kids. We made a lot of kids and parents happy today, but we'll get to that later. So Hollywood, let's get back to it and why it affects you. I was thinking all of a sudden lately, let's talk about this. We have women such as I've been reading about today, Blake Lively, who started actress Blake Lively. And I want you to stick with me with this because it's going to all come home by the time I get to the end of this video. Blake Lively, who is suing now her co-star and director in a recent movie for sexual harassment and for all kinds of horrible behavior on the set. And of course, Playbook 101, he turned around and he's blaming her. It's always blame the victim. And again, we don't know. These are alleged charges, but we've got that breaking. I then am reading excerpts from a book about Christine McVie. Those of you who are old enough or students of music, which is really my first love, I started in the music business, is she was part of Fleetwood Mac, the iconic band that, really became famous for their album Rumors in the late 70s. And her just horrific life on top of the stories and things I already know about Stevie Nicks, the other female in the group, along with three guys, and just horrible and how it created situations for them and just all sorts of exploitation and things like that. And then I'm thinking about, I was with somebody today and we were talking about Ariana Grande, or Grande, however she pronounces it. And in the movie Wicked right now, but also I guess she's considered a pop princess, something like that. And she's still fairly young, I think early 30s, 31 maybe, something like that. Don't hold me to it. And how you just look at her. Because I stared at a picture of her last night and her eyes are just kind of blank. Her face looks like one of those like avatars or something like that. She's like all eyes. So I was like, geez, I've actually seen her in real life several times. Maybe when I was doing more work on Broadway, 15 years ago or something like that, because her brother Frankie was around Broadway and doing things and working on some producing. So we ran into each other. And she just looked like, a healthy kind of teen, petite in build. But now she looks starved out with this blank kind of look on her face. So I'm thinking about her. Then I'm thinking about J-Lo. That's another program. And all she's been rumored to be through over the years. Then I'm thinking about Britney Spears. A recent picture 2 days ago, early 40s, dancing around with tattoos and showing off her bikini and clutching a stuffed animal, a bear. And then I'm thinking about poor Amanda Bynes, who's trying to make a comeback. Was the cutest, most talented child, and a mess she's become. And then I'm thinking about all of these women coming forward with these alleged cases against Dirty Diddy, as I like to call him. Although I maintain, and I'm going to be right, hear me out, this case will never come to trial in May, number one. Number two, ultimately, in order to prove this case, and I'm not a lawyer, you are going to have to go after the angle of minors and make sure you have an ironclad case. Because frankly, and again, I'm not a lawyer, this Tony Busby character out of Texas seems a tad sleazy to me. And there are things coming forth about him hitting a woman, knocking a woman's teeth out, his DUI arrest, his, all this crazy stuff. Okay, so let's put the focus back on, let's make sure you can prove these cases, but ultimately about minors. And that's where we have some, juice, where we have something we can hold them to. because survivors and victims are waiting to see some accountability here. So we have that going on. And then let's get back to Wendy Williams. This is all like in the last 48 hours, all of these stories and all of these visuals I've seen. And there's Wendy in a wheelchair in Florida going to her son's graduation. And just, we have all the stories of guardianship. Her guardian is saying she doesn't have her faculties. She cannot make decisions for herself. Her family is saying she's never been better. She certainly looks okay. Bear in mind, she's in the wheelchair, but at one point she did get up out of the wheelchair, sat in a chair, got up at one point, was mingling with the crowd a little bit, her own family and friends that were there. And I was thinking, all of this is playing out. And then about a week ago, I ran into, and it's been out there for a long time, you may have heard about it, stories about Judy Garland and what they did to her on the set of The Wizard of Oz as a teenager, starving her, calling her fat, what the Munchkins did to her, grown men and women, and all that was going on, sexual things. And I was thinking, this Hollywood, and I use that term for shorthand, there is no more Hollywood. We have to look at it as Hollywood hell. Hollywood is manufactured, right? Back in the day, glorious, sunshine, fame, fortune. Those days are over. And if you think they aren't, I don't know what country you're living in. Anybody who aspires and thinks they're going to go to Hollywood and become a star, I am telling you right now, I do not know of one woman or girl who at the time or later on or has come forth was not sexually exploited. And that could be simply with dialogue, asked to do things they didn't want to do and ran away from it. Their bubble was burst. They may have been great in their small town, Ohio, as an example, Texas, whatever you want to say, but then they go to Hollywood or come to New York and things change. That old casting couch is not called the casting couch for nothing. But you think now we have the internet. We talk about these issues. Women have come forth, girls have come forth, and still it's on the rise. It's exploding. It's still happening, right? Why is this? No parent or guardian. I understand people get this showbiz bug, as they call it, should really allow their child anywhere near any of this. And should they decide when they're 18, which is a legal adult, as you know, then let them pursue it. But I'm saying as a child, and I'm thinking of countless other cases are starting just lately to really come back to me, people you never even heard of were never seen again after being bullied in auditions. I'm thinking back to when I started in the music business, and it was the jingle business. It was in the day we did live music for TV and radio commercials. And so you would, cast the musicians, cast the singers, deal with the advertising agency. There was a very heavy pressure on women in that field and if you want the account, you put out. I didn't really realize it at the time because I didn't play those games. I was very serious. And only now, I remember thinking there were certain accounts when I went and presented, I really should have gotten because I was young, I was hip. I'm not kidding. And I was right on the mark. It was like very cutting edge what I was thinking. And I didn't understand why. And then I'd see whoever else when that commercial aired or that radio spot. And because in radio we used to do 15, 30, and 60-second spots, right? And I'd say, my idea as a young person was so much more creative than that 60-year-old man who did that spot. But now I realize all these years later, it was because, I wasn't a party girl or I wasn't flirting with the men. And then there were those women that were flirting with the men to get the accounts. And I'd hear stories, but I didn't really click because I still believed, even at this young age, like hard work, creativity, talent pays off. But I heard so many stories about being a New Yorker, about Diddy and Tupac and girls in the hood that would want to be close to this and would act as their stylist, would act as their makeup and hair people, and that's how they could be close to them. But they were really sex trafficked, passed on to other guys. And now I heard, I was not there, right? I was told about these things. Later years, I was told by older women what happened to them as teen girls. And so I say to myself, all of this sexploitation is increasing. And we're becoming habituated because we hear about it on a daily basis, right? So we just tune it out. We cannot allow this. So let's swing it back to that Hollywood hellhole, which there really is no Hollywood anymore. Think of the Hollywood sign burning. It burned down a while ago. You know, we basically don't have a lot of movies and things. It's moved on to streaming, which is fine, right? We just have to adapt whatever it is, figure out how to make it all work. But I think we really need to bring these issues out to our girls and young women and make sure they understand the exploitive nature of this show business. And Broadway's no different because I worked on Broadway as well, many shows. Very exploitive. But now I can see it going back. I heard about it, but I wasn't part of any of that. So I wasn't really privy or witness. But now I understand. I am here to warn you. No girls or young women. Do what you want when you're 18. Keep them away. It is worse than ever. And I think today the mentality is, as witnessed by all of the things we see on the internet or hear about on the internet, or girls and young women and all people doing on the internet, is it's now just normalized. It's just expected of you. And I feel so bad for our girls and young women because they're growing up in this world where they are just eat, sleep, and do this. Be exploited. How sad is that? So I ask you, where are all the feminists, the loudmouths, to link arms and stand together? And I don't care if you're a Republican, if you're a Democrat, up, down, right, whatever you are, coming together in the name of womanhood, sisterhood, and saying, we will not tolerate this. This will not be allowed on our watch. We are protesting this. So I just want to say, all of this leads, some of the names I rattled off, Amanda Bynes, and I rattled off Judy Garland and Wendy Williams. We hear so many stories, drug addicted or alcohol addicted or self-harm. I hope the Blake Lively case, for nothing else, brings forth, they release some text messages. So let's see, because with AI and things like that, I need proof all the time about things. I hope this plays out. I hope it plays in her favor. I hope it warns girls and young women what these sets are like, what behind the scenes and recording studios are like. And I hope it helps all of us to understand that we need, as the older women, as the bigger sisters, right, to society, that we start talking up and out and talk to our girls and women, right? And tell them this is not acceptable. You're better than that, right? It has to be this way going into 2025. I have a lot of hope because now we have a lot of knowledge out there. I have a lot of hope that people will start. They feel freer to step up and participate in things. And I have a lot of hope in this holiday season that we really will begin to come together, because I'm hearing in New York City a lot more of "Have a Merry Christmas." Please honor our hashtag, Community Creates Change. Please make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Please make sure you hit the little bell. You can become a member and get notified first of videos, shorts, whatever we're putting out there. And always, always, always follow us at lynswarriors.org. We appreciate all of you for your donations, your offers of volunteering, goods that are sent to us that help us. For instance, like our giveaway today in the impoverished Bushwick area in Brooklyn, that we were there today to see the smiles on children's faces. And we'll post some pictures by tomorrow, but we don't put pictures of children. We keep them, sacred and safe. But to see those smiles or the clutching of a toy is magical. So in this season of giving and joy, let's give some hope kindness, and love each other. Remember, community creates change. Now go out each and every day when you wake up and be a warrior.